Desire isn't random, it's psychology. Female sexual desire isn't just about what's obvious on the surface, it's a hidden code running deep beneath her emotions, instincts, and imagination. Most men think attraction is only about looks or status, but the truth is, the real triggers exist in the way you communicate, the energy you give off, and the emotions you stir inside her. Women may not say it out loud, but their minds and bodies constantly give signals when desire is sparked. If you've ever wondered why some men effortlessly awaken a woman's deepest cravings, while others get stuck in the friend zone, this is the difference. Understanding this psychology gives you an unfair advantage. Because once you know what actually turns her on at the mental and emotional level, everything changes. This isn't about cheap tricks. It's about mastering the hidden switches of female attraction. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that desire doesn't just happen, no, it's triggered. It's ready to uncover how? 1. Emotional stimulation is the root of female desire. When it comes to female sexual desire, the number one thing that separates men who trigger it from men who never get past a smile is emotional stimulation. Women are wired differently from men in this department. While men can feel desire from pure physical attraction in a split second, women's desire often ignites through emotions, feelings that create safety, curiosity, excitement, or even a little tension. Think of it this way. For a woman, attraction is like a fire. Physical looks might be the spark, but emotions are the oxygen that keeps it burning hotter and hotter. Without that oxygen, the flame dies out quickly. This is why you may have noticed that women often fall for the guy who makes them feel something rather than the guy who just looks perfect on paper. Emotional stimulation works in different layers. On one level, she needs to feel safe and respected. This creates the foundation. If she doesn't trust you or feels judged, her desire will never fully awaken, no matter how charming you are. But safety alone isn't enough. The deeper trigger comes when you stir excitement in her. When she feels unpredictable energy around you, like she can't quite figure you out. This mystery keeps her mind engaged, and once her mind is hooked, her body soon follows. That's why women often say, I don't know what it is about him, but I can't stop thinking about him. What they're describing is the emotional stimulation you've created inside them. Here's the hidden truth. Women crave variety of emotions in the same man. They want to feel safe one moment, playful the next, challenged after that, and deeply desired soon after. If you can shift her emotions, you're essentially pulling the strings of her desire. On the other hand, if your presence feels flat, predictable, or emotionally dull, she'll lose interest no matter how good looking you are. So, if you want to trigger her sexual desire, stop focusing only on the surface level things like compliments or looks. Instead, focus on the emotions you make her feel when she's around you. Make her laugh, make her think, make her curious about what's going on in your mind. Give her a taste of unpredictability so she doesn't feel like she has you completely figured out. Remember this: for a woman, emotions are the doorway to desire, and the man who knows how to stir them is the man she can't resist. 2. Confidence is the silent aphrodisiac. If emotional stimulation lights the fire of female desire, then confidence is the gasoline that makes it explode. Women are magnetically drawn to confidence, not arrogance, not fake bravado, but genuine self assurance that radiates from within. It's not about bragging, flexing, or proving you're the alpha. It's about the quiet certainty in your energy that says, I know who I am and I don't need approval to feel valuable. That is irresistible. Why? Because confidence signals strength, security, and leadership, the exact qualities that trigger a woman's primal instincts of attraction and safety. Here's the psychological layer behind it. Women are biologically wired to desire men who can protect, provide, and lead, not in the outdated sense of controlling, but in the sense of stability. A confident man sends the message that he won't crumble under pressure, won't beg for attention, and won't be easily swayed. This creates both safety and challenge at the same time. Safety, because she knows you're grounded. Challenge, because she realizes she can't easily manipulate or control you. That balance makes you exciting and unpredictable. Confidence also shows up in small details that most men overlook. It's in the way you carry yourself when you walk into a room. It's in your posture, shoulders back, Relaxed stance, unhurried movements. It's in your eye contact. Steady, calm, unflinching, not desperate for approval, but also not afraid to connect. Even in the way you speak, measured, unrushed, with intention. These signals tell her subconscious mind, this man is in control of himself, and that makes him capable of handling me. And here's the truth. Women don't just want to be wanted, they want to be handled by a man strong enough to not lose himself in the process. The flip side, insecurity is the fastest way to kill female desire. When a man seeks validation constantly, apologizes for existing, or hesitates to take the lead, her attraction switches off like a light. Desire doesn't survive where weakness is exposed. That's why some men who aren't conventionally good looking still have women chasing them. They radiate an energy of certainty, while good looking but insecure men fade into the background. So, if you want to trigger her sexual desire, stop trying to impress and start grounding yourself in true confidence. Show up like a man who respects himself, who isn't afraid of rejection, who can lead without trying too hard. That silent energy is intoxicating. It's the aphrodisiac she can't resist, and it works without you even saying a word. 3. The power of tension and anticipation. If you want to understand one of the strongest psychological triggers of female sexual desire, here it is: tension and anticipation. Unlike men, who can be visually turned on almost instantly, women thrive on the buildup. It's not about giving her everything at once. It's about making her wait, keeping her guessing, and letting desire simmer just below the surface until it becomes undeniable. The longer you can stretch out that anticipation, the stronger her craving becomes. This is why slow burns, teasing interactions, and even unspoken looks can create more attraction than grand gestures. Think about it. When everything is handed to someone immediately, the value disappears. But when something is withheld just enough to create mystery and longing, the mind becomes obsessed. That's exactly how female desire works. When you create tension through pauses, playful teases, or even holding back a little, you're feeding her imagination. And trust this, her imagination is 10 times more powerful than anything you can do physically. Once her mind is playing with possibilities, her body follows naturally. This is why women often respond more to a man's ability to suggest attraction subtly rather than throwing it in her face. A lingering glance, a playful smirk, or a sudden shift from humor to intensity creates a roller coaster of emotions she can't predict. That unpredictability is where anticipation lives, and the anticipation is where desire thrives. It makes her feel like something exciting is always just around the corner, but she has to stay close to you to get it. Stay close. But here's the key. The tension must be balanced. Too much hesitation, and she'll think you're disinterested or weak. Too much intensity, and it comes across as needy or overwhelming. The sweet spot is where she's not entirely sure what's coming next, but she feels the energy building. That's when she invests more attention, more imagination, and eventually more desire into you. The truth is, women don't want everything spelled out. They want to feel the thrill of discovery. They want to sense that spark between you, but still wonder when and how it will ignite fully. If you can master the art of tension and anticipation, you'll trigger a kind of desire that isn't just physical. It's psychological, addictive, and unforgettable. 4. The allure of masculine presence. One of the deepest psychological triggers of female sexual desire is something most men underestimate: masculine presence. This isn't about muscles, money, or shouting dominance. It's about the energy you radiate when you're fully grounded in yourself. A man with presence doesn't need to say much. His vibe speaks for him. He enters a room, and without demanding attention, people notice. Women especially feel it because presence communicates stability, strength, and focus, all qualities that awaken instinctual attraction. Masculine presence is about being rooted in the moment. It's when you're not restless, not fidgeting, not overthinking how you look or what you'll say next. Instead, you're calm, controlled, and deeply aware of your surroundings. You look her in the eyes without flinching. You listen without constantly interrupting, and you move with intention rather than hesitation. That simple steadiness creates an aura of power. Why? Because women are biologically wired to sense when a man is in control of himself, and nothing is more magnetic than self-mastery. This presence also translates into how you handle the world around you. When challenges come, do you panic or do you stay collected? When someone disrespects you, do you crumble or do you respond with calm authority? Women notice these things more than you think. Your ability to remain grounded under pressure makes her feel safe, yet excited, because she knows you're a man who can handle not only the world, but also her complexity. The absence of masculine presence, on the other hand, is easy to spot. Nervous laughter, constant self doubt, avoiding eye contact, or needing external validation. All of these behaviors tell her subconscious mind that you're shaky, and shaky never triggers desire. In fact, it repels it. That's why some men who barely speak still attract women. Their silence isn't awkward, it's powerful because it comes with a steady, unbothered energy. Here's the truth: a woman's desire doesn't just come from what you say, it comes from what she feels in your presence. When your masculine energy is calm yet commanding, quiet yet powerful, she feels pulled towards you in ways she can't logically explain. That's the allure of presence. It bypasses logic and speaks directly to her instincts. 5. The thrill of challenge and scarcity. If there's one psychological truth about female sexual desire that men constantly overlook, it's this: women are far more attracted to men who are a challenge. When you're too available, too eager, or too easy to win over, you kill the tension that fuels her interest. But when you're slightly out of reach, when she has to work, wonder, or wait for your attention, you instantly become more valuable. Why? Because scarcity breeds desire. The harder something is to obtain, the more the mind craves it. Think about it. If gold were lying around on every street corner, nobody would fight for it. But because it's rare, people dedicate their lives to chasing it. The same principle applies to attraction. When you're not constantly at her beck and call, when you don't drop everything just to answer her texts, when you prioritize your life and purpose over chasing validation, you create the sense that your time and energy are rare. And rarity is irresistibly attractive. This doesn't mean you play childish games or intentionally ignore her. It means you establish yourself as a man with standards, a man who values his time, and a man who doesn't need her attention to feel complete. That energy flips the script. Instead of you chasing her, she begins chasing you. She starts wondering why you're not like every other man desperate for her validation. That curiosity slowly morphs into obsession because she feels the challenge of earning your attention. Here's the twist: women don't consciously say, "I want a man who's hard to get." In fact, they may claim they want consistency and effort, and yes, those matter. But underneath, the psychology of desire is driven by the chase, the thrill, the mystery. A woman's imagination is most alive when she can't quite pin you down. When she feels like she has to put in effort, she values the connection more, and desire naturally deepens. The danger lies in being too predictable. If she knows you'll always be there, no matter what, the urgency disappears. Desire thrives in scarcity. That's why men who maintain their independence, their mission, and their standards often trigger deeper attraction than men who give everything away freely. So remember this: women don't fall hardest for the men who are too nice or endlessly available. They fall for the men who are a little elusive, slightly challenging, and rare enough that winning them feels like a prize. That's the psychology of scarcity, and it's one of the most powerful triggers of female sexual desire. 6. The magnetic pull of emotional polarity. One of the most powerful yet misunderstood triggers of female sexual desire is emotional polarity, the natural attraction that comes from the dynamic tension between masculine and feminine energy. Desire doesn't flourish in sameness. If you act just like her, mirror her every move, or always try to blend into her world, you'll end up feeling more like her best friend than the man she craves. What sparks her sexual energy is contrast, the feeling of being drawn into an energy opposite of hers. That polarity creates chemistry, excitement, and an irresistible pull that logic can't explain. Masculine energy is about direction, certainty, and strength, while feminine energy thrives on flow, emotion, and expression. When you're deeply rooted in your masculine, you give her the freedom to lean into her feminine. She can relax, open up, and fully feel the intensity of her own desire because she senses you're strong enough to handle it. That's why women often say things like, "I just feel more like myself around him." What they mean is, his energy allows me to drop my guard and surrender into attraction. Polarity isn't about dominance or control, it's about balance. If you lean too far into passivity, she feels like she has to step into the masculine role, and her attraction starts fading. On the flip side, if you lean too far into aggression or insecurity, you break the tension and replace it with fear or irritation. The sweet spot is where your grounded masculine energy creates a frame strong enough for her to dance inside it. That's where desire explodes. This polarity also thrives in playful exchanges. A teasing remark, a confident smirk, or the way you hold eye contact just a moment longer than expected creates a spark. She feels your grounded masculine energy pressing against her expressive feminine energy, and that friction is what turns into sexual charge. The more you maintain your frame while allowing her to flow freely, the stronger that charge becomes. Here's the truth. Women don't just want a man who understands them, they want a man who contrasts them. They want to feel pulled into a dynamic that excites their instincts, one where their feminine energy can bloom under the steady force of your masculine. That polarity is electric, and once you master it, you'll notice her desire isn't just emotional or mental, it becomes visceral, unstoppable, and deeply consuming. 7. The irresistible power of desire. Reciprocity. The final psychological trigger of female sexual desire is something simple yet profound. She needs to feel that you desire her, but not in a desperate, needy way. Women want to be chosen, wanted, and desired, but they don't want to feel like they're your only option or your entire world. The difference is subtle but crucial. When you express desire with confidence, you give her the validation that she's attractive and feminine in your eyes while still showing that you're a man who could walk away if she doesn't rise to your standard. That balance makes her burn for you. Think about it. If you never show any interest, she'll assume you're cold or unavailable. But if you shower her with constant, over the top attention, you suffocate the very spark that fuels her attraction. The psychology of female desire thrives in that middle ground, where she knows you want her, but she also feels like she has to keep earning your attention. This keeps her emotionally invested because she doesn't feel safe in the sense of boredom. She feels excited in the sense of wanting to maintain your focus. The way you show this isn't through begging, over texting, or exaggerated compliments. It's through subtle signals. The way you lock eyes with her when she's speaking, the way you touch her shoulder lightly as you walk past, the way your voice drops lower when you lean in close, these are micro moments that whisper, I want you. And those whispers are infinitely more powerful than a flood of words. Women respond to suggestion, to subtlety, to the energy beneath the surface, and when your desire is expressed with restraint, it becomes intoxicating. Here's the hidden truth. Women don't just want to feel desired. They want to feel desired by a man other women also want. This taps into her competitive instincts, her need to win, her subconscious drive to prove she's special. When she knows you could have others but you've chosen her, that exclusivity amplifies her attraction. You become the prize, and she invests more deeply to keep you close. So, if you want to trigger her sexual desire, learn the art of reciprocal desire. Show her that she excites you, that she awakens something in you, but never lose yourself in the process. Desire her without needing her. Want her without chasing her. When you master this balance, she won't just feel attracted, she'll feel addicted. The hidden code of female desire. When you piece it all together, female sexual desire isn't some random mystery. It's a carefully woven web of psychology, emotion, and instinct. It's not just about looks, wealth, or status. It's about how you make her feel when she's around you. Emotional stimulation awakens her mind. Confidence reassures her heart. Tension builds her anticipation. Masculine presence grounds her instincts. Challenge ignites her curiosity. Polarity fuels the spark. And reciprocal desire makes her feel chosen, yet compelled to chase. Each point is like a key that unlocks a different layer of her attraction. And when combined, they create a powerful pull she can't explain but can't resist either. Most men fail not because they're unattractive, but because they ignore these deeper triggers. They give too much too fast, they try to impress instead of inspire emotion, or they smother her with attention instead of letting mystery do its work. Desire doesn't live in desperation, it lives in balance. It thrives when you know how to show just enough interest, hold just enough back, and stay grounded in your own masculine energy without ever losing yourself. The truth is, women crave more than physical presence. They crave emotional experiences. They want to feel that rush of anticipation, that thrill of unpredictability, that surge of safety mixed with challenge. And when you become the man who can provide those feelings effortlessly, you'll notice she doesn't just desire you in the moment, she'll crave you long after you've left the room. So remember this: female sexual desire is not about tricking her or playing games. It's about understanding the psychology that fuels attraction at its core. When you master these 7 triggers, you don't just spark desire, you create an undeniable bond that keeps her hooked on you, body and soul.